Is the Quran truly the Word of God?
No, it is not. And I'm going to start showing some examples of how truly confused and misguided the author of the Quran really is. So, the Quran actually has its own version about how Saul becomes king. And in the Quran's version, the people actually aren't happy about Saul becoming king. They question how he could be king. But if you read the actual story in the Old Testament, the people want Saul to be king. But it gets worse. The Quran says that the proof of Saul's kingship is going to be that the ark will be restored to the people of Israel. But in the actual story in 1 Samuel, the Philistines take the ark in chapter 4 and then return it in chapter 6 because the Lord is like plaguing them with tumors. But Saul doesn't become king till chapter 10. But interestingly enough, it still gets worse. In verse 249, God tests Saul's army and is like, yo, whoever doesn't drink from it or just drinks a little bit of it, take with you, and whoever doesn't, leave behind. And then Saul's going to take this small amount of men to go defeat the Philistines to glorify God. Now, this story may sound familiar to you because this is the story of Gideon. Gideon is the one who has an army of men and is tested by drinking the water, and then they're dwindled down to a smaller amount to still go get victory to glorify God. The author of the Quran gets details within the story incorrect and then adds in details of other stories in the Bible that don't belong there. And stories like these are all over the Quran. And this is why Muslims have to claim that the Old Testament has been corrupted. And typically they say the Torah, but these stories aren't even in the Torah. And they existed long before the Quran came along, and they were the same after. And now, if Muhammad really is the one who put the Quran together and couldn't read, it makes sense why there'd be stories like this in there. Because he was clearly getting information about the Old Testament, but he was unable to fact check what he was receiving. And what most likely happened is that he was being misguided purposely by Jews. And so the Quran is demonstrably not the Word of God.